Today, we're going to talk about something really interesting, and this is how to slay a dragon. All right, so firstly, you need a really long and strong sword. Having red hair helps a bit also. And lastly, you need a really cool outfit like the one the girl has on. All right, well, are we really going to do this? No, just joking. What I'm going to talk to you about is how to impress your English teacher with writing. All right? There's an apple for the teacher. So this is creative writing, and you need, we're going to do a bit of guidelines about how to do your best at creative writing, how to bring out the creative side of yourself, and how to put some ink into that pen of yours. So what we need to do is just look at the whole process, all right? And this is what you're going to be doing when you do your writing task. It's going to be done in steps. So for example, when you get your topic, the first thing you're going to do is your obvious brainstorming. All right, so use whatever method you wish to write down all your ideas. Obviously, the best way is to order them so that you know step for step which comes first, which comes second, and so on. All right. Next thing is to plan, right? What is going to be your introduction? What is going to be in your body? And what your conclusion is going to be. Then your next step, a very important step, and this will always be the first double period for English, you will end up by doing a first draft. All right, and this means just writing out roughly or whatever, all your essay, whatever your paragraphs are. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. You do not have to pay any particular attention to grammar and all of those kinds of things at this stage. All right, that comes later. And this comes next. So your second step, and this will probably be in your next period. All right, so here you will edit and proofread. What does this mean? It means reading through your essay, looking for any spelling errors, grammar errors, looking for any rearranging that you might need to do, or looking for anything that you may need to leave out or that you may need to add. At this stage, this is what you do. Finally, you revise, so go over it as if it were your final copy. And be very critical at this stage. And lastly, you will write out your final copy, and this will be published. And publishing means submitting it to your teacher. All right, so now we look at what the brainstorming is all about. So you've chosen a topic or the type of essay that you're comfortable with. If you prefer narrative, so you will choose something that will become a narrative. You're better with reflective, and this is what you'll do. If you're better with discursive, this is what you do. Better with argumentative, this is what you will do. All right, so write down as many ideas on the topic or the picture as possible. Remember, we did speak about picture prompts that you could get, and which you do get at the end of your writing task. And lastly, well, not lastly, you write anything that comes to mind. And always remember, there are no right or wrong answers for this. The next stage is your plan, all right? Your topic at the top. Obviously, this is very important. And from there, all your branches, all your ideas will branch out. What you do is write down only keywords. All of this helps to organize your thoughts. And then we go to the first draft. So for the first draft, write out the complete essay. All right? Remember, I said to you, do not worry so much about what it's going to look like, because you're obviously going to tweak it to be perfect after this. What you really have to focus on at this stage is your introduction. Remember, it has to be a striking introduction. The next thing is to look at your editing and proofreading. And what do you need to look for? Obviously, your spelling and grammatical errors. You need to look at all your sentences. Are they complete? Is there any sentence that doesn't have a verb? What about your punctuation? Does every sentence begin with a capital letter? Have I repeated anything? Or if I repeated this, would it have some kind of impact on the reader? Sometimes repetition is used as a way of creating mood or atmosphere. Then you look at your concord. Are there any concord errors? A concord is something that we've done over and over again. It means that your subject and verb must agree in number. Look at your tense. Have I switched tenses too much? Have I gone from the past tense to the present tense and so on? And obviously, look at all your paragraphs. Mark them off at this stage. What is going to be my first, second? The order. Is it logical? Does it make sense? And of course, you need at this stage to check for the length of your essay. Obviously, if you are short on words, remember that you have to write the minimum. It's not necessary to write more than the minimum, but you obviously are welcome to do this. However, if you are short of the minimum, it means that your paragraphs and your sentences need to be lengthened. The next step is revising, right? What is the purpose of this? You need to improve the essay in some way. You need to rearrange your information where necessary. This will help you to improve. And finally, you need to look at your word choice. Could I use a stronger word here? Do I have any words that I've repeated that will make it grammatically incorrect? Is my message clear? These are the kinds of things that you need to look at when you are revising your draft. And now comes to the final publishing stage of your essay. Firstly, you have to write neatly and legibly. Obviously, use a dark blue pen that the teacher can see. When the teacher's an old lady and she needs to be able to read your work, don't make it hard for her, please. Dark blue pen, very neat writing. Next is to indicate clearly that this is the final copy. So very often, because both copies are handed in at the same time, I've marked a draft. And then finally, turn over the page and there it says final copy. And that makes me really mad. So what you do is draw a line through your draft, and when it says final copy, write it out in large letters. This is my final copy. Also use only a blue pen, and I said dark blue. You are not allowed to use black because moderators use black. You can't use green because cluster moderators use green. So the only color that you can use, and please do not use all of those neon colors and the pinks and the pale mauves and so on. They just don't work. Okay, this is an official document. It needs to be in blue. Now we're going over this again. Brainstorm. Okay, when you get your topic, plan around your topic. Write out your first draft. Do all the editing and proofreading. Make sure you are perfecting your essay. Revise it once more. And finally, write out your final copy for publishing and you hand it in. Now, we need to look at some of the common errors that people use. Let's look at language and grammar first, right? One of the biggest problems with these kinds of errors is the apostrophe. So you need to take note. The apostrophe only has two uses in English. Firstly, it shows possession. So this will be Heba's journey, right? Or it shows omission or contraction. Here is an example of contraction where the apostrophe is showing an omitted letter. So these are the only two reasons that you would use apostrophe in English, that is to show possession or to show omission or contraction. Okay, we never use apostrophe to show plurals of nouns, never. Okay, so two boys with an apostrophe, no, doesn't work that way. Next one is comma splicing. This is when people join a sentence with a comma when they should really have used a full stop. All right? So here's an example. I am sleepy, I have to go to bed. These are obviously two separate sentences joined by a comma. So what should you have done? I am sleepy, full stop, I have to go to bed. Or if you really didn't want to use a full stop, you could use then a conjunction. I am sleepy, therefore I have to go to bed. Right? So that one is wrong. This one is right. More common errors. Now, many people want to use direct speech in their essays. Now, if you do not know how to punctuate direct speech, don't use it. All right, because your essay is going to be full of errors and you're going to lose marks there. So avoid direct speech unless you know exactly how to punctuate it. The next thing is abbreviations. Don't use abbreviations, period. All right, always write out the word in full. Do not write numbers unless they are more than 20 or more than 100. Okay, anything less than 20 needs to be written out as a word. In addresses, for example, don't abbreviate street, lane, avenue, road, as ST or L or AVE or RD. All right. The next thing is hyphenation. Hyphenation means that sometimes you get to the end of a line and you don't have enough space to write the rest of the word. And so what people do is they put a little hyphen there and they continue the word on the other side. Now, it's not just as simple as that. So, for example, if you take this one, it says here, hyphenation. What is happening here? So the P and the H that are supposed to make the sound are separated. This is not how you do it. You don't hyphenate a word just anywhere. You hyphenate the word where the syllables end. All right. If you have to hyphenate at all. Otherwise, just avoid hyphenation of a word. So this is wrong and that is right. Next one, capital letters. What gets written in capital letters? Proper nouns, beginning of sentences. When you're writing the pronoun I, do not write a lowercase I with a dot. I is always a capital letter. All right, one of the biggest bugbears as far as language and grammar errors are concerned is the use of punctuation. All right, so get to know your punctuation. Then we come to numbers. I mentioned number. It says numbers up to 20 should be written in words unless the number is used in a date, in a monetary amount, as in rands, or in a name. Okay, like what was it for the mark last year? It was dumb 1 or dumb 2 or something like this, or scientist 1 and scientist 2, or doctor 1 and doctor 2, right? The next thing is tense. As I said, use the same tense unless you are switching the tense to create a certain effect. Very important is to consider your register and style, right? So slang, for example, is inappropriate. No slang. Do not use cliches. For example, don't say at the end of the day, we are all human. Okay, at the end of the day, I don't want to even see it in your essays. Really, it is overused. Let's look at the next thing that people use. Repetition of words, expressions, or the way sentences are started. Don't start every sentence with I or he or whatever. Try to use synonyms, to change the way your sentences are going. The last one, do not use complex words when you can use a simple word. Most of the time, simple words are the best, right? And finally, vary the length of your sentences and your sentence structures. This will make your essay interesting. Now we go to content. What goes in it? Okay, so don't choose a topic if you don't know anything about it, right? The main thing is it's very difficult to write a sincere and convincing essay on something that you have not experienced, unless, of course, you've experienced it in a book, right? Or you have a very vivid imagination, then you can do that. Also, don't go for the obvious or the average interpretation of a topic. So, because everyone's going to do the same thing, okay? You be different. But at the same time, your essay must be credible. Credible means believable, right? We must be able to believe what you are saying. Also, use fresh ideas and expressions. So don't use old, stale ideas and expressions. Include detail, very important. And, in your detail, you must include some sensory descriptions. Senses, like touch, feel, smell, hear, all of these kinds of things is what makes an essay interesting. Any reactions that you have, any emotions that are there, either by the characters you're writing about or about yourself. All right? And finally, don't be sentimental and do not preach to the reader. Don't say to the reader, you must do this and you must do that. Okay, that's preaching. Okay, in any case, you're not addressing the reader directly. You are writing some kind of essay. Now you can go slay a dragon. Okay, just like this one. What I really mean is that you must write.